Hello, weirdos of the internet. Let's face it, if you're here, it's because the YouTube algorithm knows that you're into some creepy shit. So basically, if you are new here, what we do is we discuss some paranormal activities and creepy shit that has happened throughout history and in modern day, and I do my makeup at the same time. Today we are doing something a little bit different than usual because today we are not doing a possession. We are not doing a haunted building. We are doing an entire friggin' haunted city. So put on your big girl pants or big boy pants and let's get right into it. Today's conversation is going to be about Virginia City. And basically, it was built in the 1800s as a mining city, uh, gold mining. This city to this day is time capsuled as it was in the 18th century. It still has the wooden sidewalks and all the buildings and everything. It's like just like a time capsule of a city. If you go to visit the city, you will realize a very strange thing. When it becomes evening, everybody goes. Like, everybody leaves. They're like, I'm not here for this shit. So there are multiple hauntings, haunted buildings in the city, and we are going to jump straight into that. First of all, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for boarding the crazy train with me today. First stop in Virginia City is the Silver Queen Hotel. This hotel was, as most of the buildings in Virginia City, built in the 1800s. There have been multiple paranormal sightings over the years in this motel, and some of it was caught on security and video footage. It is said that room 11 and 13 are the most haunted. I never know what to do with my left hand, so it's just gonna sit here on my lap really quietly. So it's said that rooms 11 and 13 are most haunted in this hotel. So if you are scared, try not to go into those particular rooms. People who have visited the hotel have claimed to hear the spirits of Rosie and Annie running around the hotel, tapping on people's windows. The wife and husband went to Virginia City for their anniversary, I think. This couple decided that the most romantic thing to do is to go to Virginia City and book themselves into the Silver Queen Hotel. One afternoon, they went to sleep, and the wife claimed that while she was asleep, she was like basically drifting in and out of sleep, and she heard like an entire family talking inside of their bedroom. So it's like they were in a different century, basically, if that makes sense. One of the many things that was strange about this occurrence is the fact that they heard footsteps on wooden floor, and the entire hotel is carpeted like quite thickly. So like, you know, like where wooden footsteps. They informed the people of the hotel about their experience because, of course, in Virginia City, if you said that you have a paranormal experience, that's the experience you went for, so they take pride in it. And the person who answered the phone ended up telling them, like, it was definitely paranormal experiences because there was no children on their floor, and they did, amongst the family voices, they did hear children. And also, there were no other people on their floor, so there was no explanation for the voices. They were the only people on that floor. So it's not like they heard the family next door or anything. There was nobody there. Next up on the Crazy Train Express, we have the historical 4th Ward School. This school was built in 1875 and it was like quite big. It was also one of the nicest schools in the area at that time. The school ended up, like, when the town basically died, the school ended up closing for 50 years. And then they reopened it as a museum, basically. There are claims that the spirit of former Miss Susie can be seen roaming the school grounds looking for her students. Next up, we have the Sugarloaf Mountain Motel. This motel, they don't make any secret about the hauntings. Literally, if you go there, the guests, like each guest room has a logbook for paranormal experiences. So basically they're like, hi, welcome, here's a book, write down any crazy experiences, any ghost noises, and please bring it back at the end of your visit. Thank you. So, I mean, of course, for a normal place, it's like, but we're not talking about a normal place here. We're talking about Virginia City. So, I mean, if you're looking for normal, don't go there. That's not the place to find normal. As if this can't be creepy enough, being handed a logbook to write down ghostly experiences, they also have a doll room that's filled with creepy dolls. And if you go inside this room, you will be able to hear voices, laughing, footsteps, and you might see the occasional door opening and closing. Next up on our stop is Piper's Opera House. This place was filled with talent and magic back in the 1800s when the town was still thriving. But this place burned down like twice. And they rebuilt it and then it burned down again. That's what burning down twice means, but apparently I'm an idiot today. So anyway, this place burned down twice in its time of being there. This place has a problem with fire, like the whole Virginia city has like a problem with fire. We'll get into that. But anyway, if you do decide to visit the opera house, you will see, maybe if you're lucky, you will see the spirits setting up for their big show on stage. You will also see a couple of audience members sitting ready watching the show. Some of the most haunted places in the opera house will be the balcony, the basement, and of course the attic, because what is a haunting without a good haunted attic? Next up on the Crazy Train Express, we have the McKay Mansion. This property used to be owned by former millionaire John McKay. The rumor goes that John McKay sold his soul in order to save his house from the Great Virginia Fire. Nearby buildings were left in ruins, but for some reason the McKay Mansion was like one of the only buildings that was left standing, and that's where the whole theory came in, that he sold his soul to the devil in order to keep his mansion. If this is true, we don't know. It's speculation. It's purely speculation. Other than the claims of John McKay selling his soul to the devil, there are also rumors of multiple spirits roaming these grounds. And also John McKay's wife basically just wandering the house looking for her long-lost lover. Next up on the stop, we have Story Country Courthouse. The legend behind this is that there was a man named Peter Larkins, and he was hung because he was accused of murder. Now, the juicy part is that his girlfriend actually testified against him, and that was the final nail in the coffin for him to be like executed. The courthouse, like most of Virginia City, remains open, but it's basically a museum now to preserve the history of law enforcement in America. Not to be mean, but I really don't think that a courthouse where a guy was wrongly convicted and hung for murder should be the poster child of American law enforcement. But each to their own, I'm not gonna judge. People say that to this day, Peter Larkin's screams can be heard for justice. Next up, we have the Old Washoe Club. So this club is a bit sketchy. I'm gonna be honest, it's a bit sketchy. This bar was built in 1870 as a luxury bar for all the rich men in the city, which meant that nobody outside of the club knew what was going on in there. It was like a total mystery to everybody, but that mystery is no longer there. So if you go inside of this club, you will find a spiral staircase leading up to a landing place, and you will find there a deep freeze. So this freezer was called the Crypt. Sketchy, I know. In the functioning years of this club, the death toll was on a roll, guys. In 1873, there was an explosion that killed 12 people. Prostitutes also went missing, and there was a lot more suicides than normal. And of course, these bodies were stored within the crypt. Obviously, this is the reason for the Washoe Club being one of the haunted buildings in Virginia City. Next up, we have the vacant lot. Now, I know it doesn't sound like much, but this place had a tendency of burning down like most of Virginia, I guess. This lot used to house a hotel and it burned down, and then they rebuilt it and it burned down again. They rebuilt it again and it burned down once again. And then they just decided, no, it's fine, we're not going to waste any more money. This place can just become a parking lot for the Silver Queen Motel. They say that if you sit in the parking lot for long enough, you will hear ghostly whispers and ghostly activities. Next up, we have St. Mary's Art Center. This used to be a hospital called St. Mary Louise's Hospital. There was 7 sisters who lived within the attic of this hospital, and they took care of the sick and mentally ill people of Virginia City. This was a full-blown hospital with the operating room located on the 1st floor. The mental asylum was located on the 4th floor, and the nursery was in the basement. Of course, like any hospital, this hospital saw its fair share of death, and that's pretty much an explanation as to why it's haunted. One of the most famous ghosts in this hospital, art center, whatever you want to call it, is an old man sitting in a wheelchair, looking straight ahead, just staring, not knowing where he is. Creepy shit. There is also the ghost of what they like to call the White Nun. Now, this nun would be a pain in my ass because she goes around messing up people's beds. But I guess she's not all bad because she does walk around also looking for people who she can heal. Of course, rich, white, misogynistic men cannot only have one club per town, and we had another club called Eclampus Vitus. This, like the Washoe Club, was a mysterious club. Men only, of course. Nobody knew what was going on within the club because, top secret. The men within this club like to call themselves the Knights of Pythias. How sexy. Apparently what they did is that they were the law enforcement, keeping the people at bay. There are claims that while this club was running, that the crime rate did drop down. However, and I say that with a big however, there are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of rumors saying that the members of this club murdered people. How great. Nobody genuinely knows what went on within this fraternity, and sadly nobody will ever know because the building is still privately owned to this day. Along with the multiple haunted hotels in the city, we have one more for you. Our next hotel is called the Gold Hill Hotel. With this being a mining city and all, the city saw their fair share of mining accidents in the 1800s. In 1869, 37 miners died and their bodies were never discovered. It's said that the miners' spirits reside in several of the rooms of this hotel, with their favorite room being a cabin in the back of the hotel. William, the cigar-smoking spirit, has been seen sitting on the bed in room 5. Next up on our creepy stop, we have the Delta Saloon. Owning this saloon comes with a deadly prize. Basically, 3 of the previous owners killed themselves after gambling on the famous suicide table. The original casualty of this table was Black Jake. If you do not see the irony, we can't be friends. So this Black Jake guy, he lost $70,000 when gambling on this table one night. I mean, if that's a lot of money in this lifetime, imagine how much it was back then. The night after losing all his money, he went and he took his life. He was sadly not the only person to commit suicide after gambling on this table. 2 other owners after him also gambled on this table, also lost a lot of money, and also decided it would be a good idea to take their own life afterwards. After these two deaths, they decided to cover the table with plexiglass to prevent any other dealings happening on this table, and they dubbed it the famous suicide table. This table can still be seen today if you go to the Delta Saloon. However, I would highly suggest you do not play with it. It's on its way. If you enjoyed today's video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe down below, and also comment any other stories that you want me to cover in the future. Thank you so much for those of you who have subscribed. You make my heart so happy. And also, if you want to see more of my face, not that anybody would, but anyway, if you want to see more of my face, I am over on TikTok at Maddie Horror, same as my YouTube handle, and I would love to see you guys there. I will see you guys with my next video. Bye. Mwah.